Now that we know the basics of Sculptris Pro, let's dig deeper into the controls and see how it can be used in real-world scenarios. So let's get the standard brush tool. It's already there. And what I will do over here is that I will create a kind of a eyebrow detail over here. And you can see that what I have done so far here. Okay. Now, as I have done this, let's go and check our like some options that are related to Sculptris Pro. So we have to go to stroke. Inside the stroke, we have this Sculptris Pro. So if you will go to Sculptris Pro, it will give you these options basically here. Now, the first option that you will see here is the adaptive size. Now, what does the adaptive size do? Is that it changes the amount of details that is based on your brush size. So if your brush size is small, it's going to create small fine detail. If your brush size is bigger, so it will create not so fine but more coarse result. Okay. Now if I will turn it off, and if I go back here and try to draw the same stroke, you will notice that it's not creating a basic fine stroke over here. And even if I will make this brush strike smaller and then make some other detail, you can see that it's not giving me a fine result that it used to be, because what it is doing is that it's just sticking to one type or a one kind of a subdivision. It's not now based on the size of the brush, whereas before it was based on the size of the brush. As the brush was becoming bigger or smaller, it was calculating that size and creating subdivision according to that. But now it's not doing. That's why it's giving me this weird sort of result. So I will undo this and I will go back here to my stroke and turn the adaptive size on. So now as this is on, and if I will draw over here, just you can notice that we are getting a certain detail level with this size. And then if I will make it small, so we will get this sort of detail with this size. And if I will make it more smaller, even more smaller, okay, so you can get a finer more fine detail with the more smaller size. So this is actually creating details based on the brush size. So that's how adaptive helps you. Now there is one more option here. It's called combine, and let's see what it is. Let me undo over here everything and make my brush size a little bit bigger and draw a fine brush stroke over here. And now once you will see that I have a brush stroke here, what I will do is that turn on my wireframe so you can see everything. And if I will turn it if I will make it smaller, my brush size, and draw on it, so that's the next brush strokes you will see is more subdivided, okay, because of its size. So here is where the combined options comes in. So actually there is a technical description of this, okay, what it is doing behind. So in more practical term, what it does is that when combined with the two different kind of strokes, like you can see that it's keep them divided. It does not make them look like they are one. If the brushstroke is bigger, so there will be a coarse sort of subdivision over here. If it is smaller, so there will be fine sort of subdivision over here. So this is what it is doing. And let's see one more scenario over here. Let me make a small brushstroke here, okay, at this area, and let me increase my brush size. And now I will do the opposite of this one, because here I made a bigger brush stroke first, then the smaller one. Now I made a smaller brush stroke, now I will make a bigger brush stroke. So here you can see what it did is that, let me go out of this. You can see that as here the bigger brushstroke is more coarse and the smaller is more fine, but here they are not like divided in that way, because what happening over here is that when a large size is low detail, so it is going to override any smaller detail and just kind of obliterate it. So this is what it have done so far. So this is a kind of a thing that is done by the combine option. Let me undo everything and let's see what happens if we do if you make any stroke without the combine option. So let me make a bigger stroke over here, and you can see nicely it had made it. But now if I will make my size smaller here, and then if I will draw over here, so you can see that if I zoom in, let's for instance, the number of combination is not as same, because what it have done is that it have added detail but it didn't get rid of it. So this is useful if you want to sculpt some larger shapes over existing fine detail without obliterating that fine detail. So let's do another like a stroke over here. Let me zoom in here, zoom out from here. Okay, and this time I will do the opposite, just like I did it before, removing, like before unchecking this combined one. So if I will, here it looks like almost the same, but what I will do here is that I will just make a smaller one here, okay, this time. And what I will do next is that I will just increase my brush size here. And now what I will do at this stage is that I will just make the brush stroke over here. Now you will see that before what it did was that it removed that kind of a fine detail, but here the fine detail is exactly there. Okay, but result is have some kind of artifact. So that's why it's always better to use the combined option over here. So you can compare it with what I did before and what I did next. Okay, so with or without the combine over here. So basically combined, what they mean is that it's combining the ability of brush to create fine, smaller detail with brush's ability to remove fine detail and create coarser detail. Now, if I will go back here, you will see there is these two options over here. So there's also subdivide size here. You can see that, and undivide ratio, like ratio here, subdivide and ratio. These two basically control how fine your coarse the detail is about the brush, which is going to create or remove. Now, for most of the part, I don't recommend changing these. It's actually pretty good where it is in the default stage, and changing it could actually create some very unpredictable extreme results. So I recommend just leaving them the way they are. Now, smoothing with the Sculptris Pro is really great. So holding down Shift key, let me turn on my uh, wireframe here so you can see what happens if I smooth. So, well, going to smooth mode, what it does is that smooth out all the detail and reduce the complexity as well. So you can see that what it is doing. So it is smoothing it out and also it is reducing the complexity. Okay. So that's why it's a really good way of doing combining smooth brush with the Sculptris Pro. So you get a very nice result just like that. So if I will do on the other areas, you can see what it is doing just with the help of the smooth tool. And now if I will go out, you can see how smoother this is, and you can see as compared to the other parts. So sometimes what happens, every once in a while you will get some artifacts, but it's just because your camera you have to move around. Okay, and you will not get those kind of results. Like suppose here, if I will go back here, you can see what is going on at this stage. Okay, so maybe it's because of over smoothness or something like that. Okay, now I think it's better. Okay, so these kind of artifacts is basically depending on it depends on your camera angle sometimes. So just you can move around your camera angles, okay, and then you can smooth them in or smooth them out again, or change a little bit smoothness, undo the smoothness, so you will get a better result here. Or you can use a smaller brush to smooth it out or smooth it in the thing, so you will not get those kind of artifacts. And let me undo the this whole thing what I have done so far. Now, let's see another interesting way to use smooth. So let's see, we want to get rid of this nose over here and then sculpt our own nose. So if I wanted to if I want to remove this nose, and by smoothing this with without the Sculptris Pro. So let's see what kind of result it will give. So I will deactivate the Sculptris Pro and press Smooth Brush tool and try to smooth this out. So you can see this is kind of giving me these two pointy edges over here, which I actually, I don't want. So now it is just like a, kind of a weird shape for me. So I will just undo it. And then what I will do is that I will go to my Sculptris Pro here. And if I will start smoothing with this, actually you will, let me move it around. If I will press Shift key on my keyboard, and you can see the smooth of the Sculptris Pro is of an orange color, while the smooth of a regular uh, like ZBrush work is like kind of a blue color, but here is this orange. So if I will start smoothing this out over here, okay, so select from here, you can see that, and even if I will do from here, so you can see it is kind of making everything smooth out, flatten out, and I'm on a like a fine spot over here. Okay, so I don't have those two pointy things right now on my model that I had it before. So you can just start like doing something like this. So you could actually just obliterate that by just smoothing it completely into non-existing. So now you can create a totally different nose, and like here, by using this, and keep on increasing that part over here. Okay, and then maybe you can go to snake uh, hook tool to move this around, or just you can work with this as you like. Okay, so smoothing tool brush is quite a good way of like a starting point over here to create things, and it helps you a lot. It gives you a very nice and fine result, just like you have seen over here. Some things to keep in mind when using Sculptris Pro mode is that it will destroy any UVs that you have laid out. So basically any texture mapping that you have applied will no longer be able to apply, because Sculptris Pro just totally obliterates all of that. It's also going to not work with subdivision. So before your Sculptris Pro mode, you have to remove any subdivision that the model might have before it will work. So generally, you can see Sculptris Pro mode is a great for adding fine detail and messing with the shape of the object in a very free form way. Generally, I tend to use Sculptris Pro either at the beginning of the concept sculpting, or maybe at the very end when I have very high detail left and I want to do those. So I just want to, if I want to just change a few small things at the end, so for that also I use the Sculptris Pro. So I hope you have understood about how the Sculptris Pro works and how powerful it is and what kind of options it have. So if you have liked my video, please click on the like button. Also, I will highly appreciate if you can share my video on your social media accounts, so others who want to get some help out of my videos, they can get some help. And if I will have more subscriber, I will get motivated to create more and more content for you all. So thanks a lot for supporting me. Click on the bell icon so you can get the like notification, and I hope you're watching my videos online, not downloading them, because it will really demotivate me if you downloading them. I will not get the enough watch time hours. So guys, help me out and to get to a better channel, to make this channel a better place for everyone. So till next class, take care of yourself and bye for now.